Lon Robertson, R-O-B-E-R-T-S-O-N, same as it was last night. As our friend Jim Harrell put it a while ago, all of us here tonight are the reason that we are still here tonight. But you have to look at that in a different perspective, is that we come back time after time after time, but because we're able to come back time after time after time. Had we not done something 5 years ago, none of us would be here. I would guarantee you that. We have been successful because we have fought together to fight the fight to protect our rights. The Colonel is doing his job. He has been, as Jim put it, given a sack that says Pinon Canyon on it. He is given the task of creating more use, whatever the case may be. His commanders have given him a directive. The Army doesn't do anything except follow directives. They do not back up. They do not retreat. So we shouldn't expect them to do any different because we are telling them what we feel. The people that have control over this, the Colonel doesn't have control over this. He can go forward with this EA because his commanders tell him to. But who has control over this is our legislators. Those are the ones that have helped us get to the point we are now. Those are the ones that we have to approach about this effort. You're going to have comments, and I would encourage you to have comments and submit them in this process. But in this process, they are going to be filed away. They are going to be listed and filed away and never to be looked upon again. The Colonel says that he will look at those and he will answer those, yet it will not affect any of the decisions. It will not affect the outcome of this EA effort. Just because you say you have a disagreement with it is not going to change that at all, and that gets back to the NEPA process being abused and misused. We have a process about keeping our rights, and that is through our legislators. We elect them to office, and they follow our designated desired efforts. If enough of our voices speak out to them, then they will do what our bidding is. That's what we have to do, and we have to continue to do that. Make your comment tonight. Say what's wrong with this EA. Submit it to your legislators as well. Tell Mr. Tipton we need to keep the ban in place. Tell Mr. Tipton that we need to have the DOD remove the waiver that gives them permission to go forward if they have funding. You each have handouts that we presented to you. I hope that you will use them. Each of your friends, ask them to do the same. There's more than 100 people in the room tonight. There are more than 10,000 that have signed that petition against the expansion. In fact, over 13,000 now. So you have to consider that we have a large voice. Maybe they're small communities that are banded together, but we are one large community. And a large community together can make a difference. We have made a difference, and we can continue to make a difference. We don't agree with the EA. We don't agree with the effort that's being made to try to compartmentalize or make room for or justify an expansion. We don't think it's necessary. And at this time in our economy, in our situation in the United States, we shouldn't be spending more money. Everybody's in agreement with that, except for the Army. They don't have any auditable books that can tell exactly where they're spending everything. So until they can tell us what they're spending money on and how much they're spending money on, shouldn't they be held accountable and held back? Tell them, you stop right now, we don't do anything else. All of us together need to do that. All of us together have to tell our elected officials, and we have to do it starting tonight, over and over and over again. Just because you feed a cow one time doesn't mean you don't have to feed her again tomorrow.